and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to part two of my interview with Derron Thomas. I'm joined right now by the former running back. Derron, how's everything going, man?
Everything going great. What about yourself?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good. Can't complain. Great news earlier today. In case I upload this tomorrow, we're recording this on the 28th. So the Canes just landed a big time recruit in Isaiah Horton. So building on that current class, I know you still follow the team and stuff. So what do you think of what the staff's been doing with the recruiting class so far?
I like the way they're approaching the recruiting class. You're kind of going after some high profile guys, and we're just not looking for that guy to just commit just to make it look pretty. And then signing day comes, he's decommitting and going somewhere else. But right now, we're actually identifying guys, recruiting them hard, building relationships, and slow playing the process to get those guys. And I think that's the best approach. Over the years, we've had a lot of guys who decommitted. There's no secret. But I think this staff right now, they're doing a better job building up relationships with those guys and getting connections with the families and letting them understand like everything that we bring to the table. And, it's still nice to know that we still have high-end kids all over the country who's still interested in attending the University of Miami. So it's good that we're able to go into these other states and go get some of those top guys to add in top recruiting class, because I think that'll pan out for us long term.
Absolutely, yeah. Because I remember during a lot of the later Randy Shannon, Al Golden days, it was we amass all these commitments. By June, we'd have the number one class, but if they don't stick around, they don't stick around. It's not going to matter, obviously. So yeah, I agree. I think the approach they're going with now is the better one. Build the relationship and get a true commitment that is going to stick. So speaking of, because obviously loading up on elite talent's important, and they've got a huge game coming up. In just 38 days, they're playing Alabama in Atlanta, and you, of course, are no stranger to going to hostile environments and playing top 5 teams. I mean, you guys did it a few times with Virginia Tech in 05, Tallahassee in 05, the Swamp in 08. There was a bunch of examples, but if what do you think is the biggest challenge that these guys are going to be facing going into that game? Is it going to be the mental part? Is it going to be the media? What do you think is the toughest challenge for them?
I think the toughest challenge for a young team like us with high aspirations is just dialing on the mental aspects of the game. Making sure that those guys have a good week of practice, that they're locked in technically and physically and mentally. So when we get into those games, the moment's not too big for any of those guys. I think over the years, some of the big games we've had, the moment was too big for some of our players and the situations with the mental lashes. It just showed a little immaturity in the team. But I think that with the staff maturing and progressing these guys, developing them with the way they're doing, that we're starting to tap into that aspect of it and we're correcting it. And that's all that matters. Trying to build a program is finding deficiencies and finding ways to improve on those different aspects year in and year out to kind of tap into everything that you want to tap into as the next upcoming years happen. And with the staff again, shout out to DVD and Coach Diaz and those guys. I'm loving what they're doing. And I think that this year, I don't want to be cliche, but I just think, this year I want to say there's going to be that year again where we're going to really try to, take college football by storm. And that's what I'm excited about. So that'll be the biggest thing. Those guys lock in mentally and just understand when the game starts, it's still a 100-yard field. It's still football. It's no different. It's just another team on the other side of the ball. And it's going to be new for those guys at Alabama, too. They got a lot of new starters coming in. They're coming off of the national championship. So they're going to have pressure on them. And I'm sure Coach Saban and that staff will be preaching that same thing to them. That's why we got to come in and do what we're supposed to do. And I think as long as we do that with those guys, we'll get good results.
All right. I'm going to piggyback on that for my next question. So let's say it's the week of the game and you have a chance to maybe talk to the team for a few minutes. What would you tell the team? What's the one thing you would tell them to focus on, or maybe take their mind off? What would you tell them to focus on for that week?
Don't get caught into the hype. It's going to be a big game. Everybody knows that it'll be on national TV, but that's not what you're here for. You come to the university to play football and win big games and compete in big games and contend for championships. And possibly have opportunity to make it to the NFL. So long as you're coming in mentally and you just coming ready to work, just the things you do in the game should be the things you did in practice. And don't let that moment get bigger than that. And that'll be the biggest thing, just treat it like another game. We know it's Alabama, we know that. But for your mental, you shouldn't have to work harder because it's Alabama week. We work hard every week. So it really doesn't matter if you're playing Alabama or if you're playing a D3 school. The preparation is the same. So long as you're coming in with the right mental aspects of it and you're preparing the same, and you don't let the moment get too big for you, because the media will make the moment big. The fans will make the moment big. The parents will make the moment big. So long as you just treat it like a normal football game and do the things you're coached to do, you will be okay once that game starts.
Right. What do you think players have, like they have now, to deal with that might be a lot tougher than what you had to deal with during your playing days?
Social media. Social media. When we were in college, Facebook was just starting up. MySpace was starting up, but that was it, right? Well, now you're going into Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, and all these different Clubhouse and all those different platforms, to where now everything is getting scrutinized, and the biggest thing, you just have to understand that you have to, like I tell my guys, even at the high school level, watch what you're posting on your social media. All of that matters. That's a big deal. So, and when you're young, you don't think about things like that, because I was young at one point. We were all young at one point. So the way we think as 30-plus-year-old men, late 20s, 30s men, is different than we thought when we were in our late teens, early 20s. So the maturity level for myself to just put it into those young guys at an earlier age, to where they can get the same knowledge so they don't make those mistakes. Some of the mistakes that we may have made. So, with that being said, just keep it professional. That's like your job interview. Your social media is your job interview. It's your profile. So you wouldn't want anything in your profile to hinder your job. So it's the same concept with ball. You don't want anything to hinder what's at hand. What's at hand is taking that scholarship, doing what you're supposed to do, school, graduating, playing football during that process, and hopefully get a chance to make it to the NFL. And don't let anything deter that dream. It's all about mental immaturity. That's the biggest thing at this level now. Your mental has to take it up to a whole other level. Your maturity has to go up to another level, because the top programs, that's what they're doing. The talent starts getting the same. The higher you get up in the ranks, the talent is not that far off. But how you approach the game, what's the mentality of your team, what's the character of your team, all of those things is what starts separating the good teams from the great teams. And once we get that down pat, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think it's huge that on this particular team, so many veteran starters came back. I believe like 92% of our production from last year is back. So I think that's going to be massive as far as, staying focused and taking it one game at a time. But speaking of the whole, social media distraction thing, now you got to add the whole NIL thing to it. Which I think is a great thing. I, like many fans, have been saying, yes, I think college players should be compensated in some way, and now they will be on their name and likeness, which is great. But let me ask you, because you coach high school, obviously, so is that also going to be a huge distraction now for maybe some of the guys that you coach that maybe have D1 or FCS aspirations to play at the next level? Is that something you're going to have to deal with?
It's something you're gonna have to deal with, but it's all about educating those young guys. Some of these kids, they don't know, so it's up to us as adults and authority over those kids to teach them. So you're just kind of giving them the ins and outs and who they should be dealing with, who they shouldn't be dealing with, what are some things they should be looking for. But like we say, I love the NIL deals. Go make your money. So I wish we had it. We lost a lot of money. We lost a lot of money by not being able to make money off of your name, image, your likeness. So with that being said, for this new generation, go make your money, but just don't let your money determine your lifestyle. It's not about that. All money is not good money. So just be smart, just be smart. And at the end of the day, go make plays. You go make plays, everything else will speak for itself. So you don't have to try to make a name for yourself off the field to try to get money off the field. At the end of the day, your production on the field, that'll help you with your production off the field. So just being a guy, understanding that you just need to work harder. You want more money, bust your butt harder. You want to make more deals, compete harder. Winning heals everything. That's when the team effect comes into it. You want to be on a winning team. When you're on a winning team, everybody eats. Everybody eats, and that's the mentality that they should have. And that's what I preach to my guys too. Football is an individual sport with team aspirations and goals, so you have to have them both together. And a person who doesn't know how to separate that, he only about his individual self, that kid won't make it long term, whether it's at the high school level or the college level or the professional level. So you have to always think about things with the team in mind as well, so it can help yourself and your team get to the ultimate goal, which is the championship.
Absolutely, yeah, because those guys that are playing in the Final Four, the national championship game, they're going to get the most exposure and the most people, knocking on their door, blowing up their phone for NIL deals. So, 100%. Let's switch topics real quick. So, you played at the U from 03 or 04 to 08? It was 04?
04 to 08.
04 to 08. So you were there for some massive games. Like I said, a lot of top 5, top 10 matchups. Let me ask you, because I'm always curious about, especially guys that played during the Larry Coker era. What would you say was the most satisfying win you guys had while you were
there? Satisfying. I'll say freshman year, the Peach Bowl against Florida was pretty good. Sophomore year, the Virginia Tech game in Blacksburg was a pretty big one. That was a top 5 game. Yeah. That was a big one. We had FSU in 07 was a big one. In Tallahassee, that was a big one. Like I said, we approached all games the same. Of course, you had that certain team that, the FSU game or the VTech game that kind of get your blood boiling a little bit harder that week. But we approached them all the same. We had some good times. We did have some not so good times, but that's life. That's life. That's the way it goes. Over the course of 5 years, you'll have your ups and downs. You'll hit your bumps and your bruises, but you just have to keep on going. And like I said, we love the time there and all of the games, all the opportunity with the guys in the locker room. Those are memories that we'll cherish for the rest of our lives. That's what I appreciate the most.
Yeah. Yeah. You still keep in touch with a lot of the guys, right?
Oh, yeah, I talk to a lot of my guys, man. We talk on a daily. Like me and Charlie Jones, that's like my right-hand man. So I was the best man in this wedding. And like I said, we talk almost every day. We talk almost every day. I talk to Eric Houston, Reggie Youngblood, Spencer Atkins, Bruce Johnson, Jarrell Mabry. We have a group message. We talk a lot, so we keep each other updated on Kane's information. Those guys still keep up with everything. We try to help each other about life and adult goals and adult questions, bigger than football, So we have a real brotherhood we have going, and we all like to feed off each other to get advice from different people, just to get a different perspective from qualified individuals who you respect and value their opinions. So yeah, those guys, like, we talk a lot. So it's just great to keep in touch with everybody, and I'm just appreciating that over these years we've still had the bond that we've had since college, and we still keep it going to this day.
That's awesome, man. I think that's super important to maintain those relationships for anybody, not just football. Now, on the other end, what to you was the most heartbreaking loss that you guys experienced?
I'll say, my freshman year in 04, we lost to Virginia Tech in the Orange Bowl, and that costed us the opportunity to play as the ACC champs and be in the Sugar Bowl against Auburn. And that would have been an opportunity for me to come back home and play in New Orleans my freshman year, even though I redshirted that year. But still, that would have been an opportunity for family and everybody to come in and just see us up close and personal in the city. So that was a tough loss. And I think the Orange Bowl loss, when we lost to Virginia, the last game in OB, that was tough too. Our final game in the Orange Bowl, we played horrible. We got our butts whipped, and that wasn't the most pleasing way to close up the Orange Bowl. So I would say that was a tough loss for us as well.
Yeah, I was at both, and I'll tell you, as a fan, I think that was probably number one for me, that 04 Vatech game, because people forget, like, that was for the ACC title, like, before there was an ACC championship game. And another one for me was, I don't know if you remember 06, the season opener of 06 in the OB against FSU.
Yes, sir. I remember that one as well. That one hurt too.
That one stung because that was like the most watched ESPN game ever at the time.
That one hurt as well. That was another tough one.
Yeah, man. So
Defensive struggle.
yeah, defensive stuff. Two great defenses, though, I will say. That was,
Yeah,
you guys, we had Calais Campbell and Tavares Gooden. We had one of the best defenses in the country at the time.
we couldn't move the ball, and they couldn't move the ball either.
And it was raining. Yeah, that was frustrating as a fan.
Right.
But real quick, you know, how are before I let you go, you know, how are things going with you know, your current program? I know you're coaching some high school ball over in Louisiana. How long have you been doing that, by the way?
This upcoming season will be year 4, and I've
Okay.
had 5 years in total. So it'll be 5 years in total. This will be year 4 straight. I took some years off. I started working with Foot Locker. Then we may have spoke about it. I did about 7 years of retail. I was a store manager. I did that for 7 years, and my calling back into the football world just crept up on me, and I decided to get back into it. So now I'm back teaching business. I'm a business teacher, and I'm the running backs coach at East St. John High School. And we have some guys as well. You know, we have a big season coming up. We have some top recruit guys who can really play some football. And I'll start off with, we have a wide receiver by the name of Colin Harris. He's really, really talented. He can really play. He's about 5'11", about 160, 4.4 speed, 3-sport guy, football, basketball, and baseball. You know, he'll get you 150 yards receiving a night. He'll go to a basketball tournament and average 25 a game. Then in baseball, he'll bat 350. So he's a 3-sport guy who's just an all-around good athlete, class of 2022. So he's a guy that stands out at our program to begin with for this 2022 class. So I'm letting college coaches kind of, you know, that's him. Come get him. We're at East St. John High School. He's there. He's a great kid, the grades and everything. And he's just a one. But that's just one that stands out who, for this upcoming season, that, you know, we're pushing for him to set us up to get the 2023 guys and the 2024 guys and get those guys going forward too. Prior to him, we had a 2022 class. We had a few guys who moved on. Had a guy who went to Baylor. He was real talented. So we got some guys been coming through. And with this upcoming season, I'm just excited to see what Colin and the rest of our offense and our team in general will do. But we have a big time schedule. So we play every game. We have at least 2 to 3 Power 5 guys we'll be playing against every week. So we got a big season coming up, and we're ready for the challenge. We're going to strap it up, play ball. We've been working all summer, and we'll just play the ball down. Let's play.
Yeah, no, the talent level in the state of Louisiana, I mean, it's always been pretty high, but it's really gone up. Louisiana and Georgia specifically, those 2 states, I mean, it's really gone up. But yeah, Colin Harris, you said, I'm gonna look him up because
okay,
I'm gonna look him up because I'm a huge baseball fan too. So you told me he could play and also pass 350. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna check out his tape. But yeah, no, Derron, I appreciate you taking a few minutes to hop on, chop it up with me. You know, I know we didn't get to really quite finish last time, but really appreciate it doing round 2 with you. You know, hopefully we can have you on the show again, you know, maybe during the season at some point. Hopefully we'll be like 7-0 or 8-0 at the time.
Right.
Yeah, and you know, we'll talk later in the season, man. So thanks again for coming on.
Oh man, look, no problem. Whenever you want me on, feel free to contact me. I'm open book, so I'm always willing to talk Canes, talk football. Just glad to have you on. So we appreciate it.
Thank you, man. All right.
All right.
As always, guys, all about the youth. All right. Take care.
All about the youth. All right.
All right.